Here we go. Welcome back to another episode of the Soccer Specialist Podcast. These next two or three episodes maybe are going to be a little bit different. A while back, I had spoken at the Elite Youth Soccer Summit, and I had actually done a bonus audio for people who got tickets to that was about 30, 35 minutes long. And I was just listening to it the other day. It actually has some really good content in it that it's perfect for this podcast and for you. And so what I'm going to do the next two or three episodes or so, I'm going to break it up so they're only about 10 minutes long. And this is going to be the first part of that. So if anything doesn't make sense, I reference the summit or what have you, and you're not sure what that is, that's why that's in there. But it's 99%. This could have been done. I could have talked about this today or 10 years ago, and it works. Okay. So hopefully you get some good out of it, and I will talk to you later. Here we go. One of the things I wanted to delve into a little more that we touched on was confidence and confidence building. And I think that may be the most crucial part of a young child's development when it comes to soccer or most anything really. And if they don't have that confidence, or not even so much confidence that, they're some great player, but that confidence that it's okay to make mistakes, that it's okay to try new things and fail, and to understand that you are going to make mistakes and that's the only way you're going to improve. And the most successful people in the world, whether they're soccer players or anything else, probably make more mistakes than anyone else. And the only way you truly fail is if you give up. So, whether it's a new move, trying to make a one touch pass or whatever it is, passing back to the goalie for the first time, and the goalie gets all nervous and doesn't know what to do. These kids need that confidence to understand that it's okay to make the mistakes and it's not the end of the world. Um, and so a big part of that is supporting them. And as I tell my kids all the time, that what they have to do, they have to listen, practice in the games to instructions, and they have to give me their best effort, because that is the one thing they can control, is to go out there and give 100% all the time. Everything else is secondary. Mistakes are going to happen, but if you give effort all the time, and you work on becoming a better player, and you work on trying to do the right things, and you try new things as you learn, the development part is going to happen. No child is going to go out and do a Maradona or a double scissors or whatever it is you can think of and get it right the first time. And they're not going to ever try it in a game if they don't have the confidence to believe that it's okay to try and mess it up. So be sure to be supportive. I think this is really key in helping them develop their confidence and understand that mistakes are okay, and that we as the adults, whether it be the coaches or their parents, cannot yell and scream at our players for a mistake that is made because they tried something new or they tried to do the right thing but it didn't work. Uh, a great example at the young ages, and parents do this all the time, and even some coaches, because even when they know development is the most important thing, they get caught up in the moment of trying to win games. And this is at a young age of, defenders, just defender, anytime you get the ball and anyone's near you, just kick it down the field. That doesn't help them become a better player. It might help them win a game, but it doesn't help them become a better player. It doesn't help the team become better. It doesn't help the other players learn to support that defender and to help them get out of trouble and make the right pass and beat a defender 1v1 and work the ball up the field. So we can't be screaming at them for mistakes when they're trying to do the right thing, but maybe they don't quite have that development and that skill level yet to pull it off. And, at younger ages, you're going to see the more athletically gifted, the bigger, stronger, more developed, athletically speaking, children dominate games. But as they get older, it's going to become the smarter players and the more technical players that are going to start overtaking that speed and that athleticism. And that's something I've discussed with my kids from the very beginning, and the parents as well, is that understanding at a young age that we're going to do the right things at a young age all the time. And a great example of that is doing the right things in terms of passing the ball around and working it down the field, and not just kicking it all the way down in hopes that we have a fast player that's going to outrun everybody else and get to the ball and score, which you see a lot at the young ages. And unfortunately, at the younger ages, it's a struggle for them because they don't have the soccer IQ yet. Because the game is so fast, it can be so complicated to make the right decision with a pass. They don't quite understand moving off the ball, and a lot of times they're going to lose out to faster, stronger, more athletic kids who at that young age can run three, four, five girls, boys to the ball and get that player to cough it up. But as long as they're continuing and trying to do the right thing, even if they're making mistakes, as they get older, they will start being more and more successful. They'll start being able to put two, three, four, five, six passes together, seven passes together, and work the ball upfield and punish the other team for that athleticism and speed because the ball is going to move faster than those players eventually, as long as they're learning the right things at a young age. So I think I know I just went on and on, really just summing up competence. I think that's extremely important in understanding that struggles that happen are age 5, 6, 7, 8 are going to turn into good things when they're 13, 14, 15 and older. And we have to understand that and support the kids as they're learning. Um, and speaking of supporting it during games, I think this is really important is to support your child and the team, but don't coach. And I know this is very difficult. I know that if I were on the parent sideline watching some of my kids, it would be very difficult for me. But you never know what the coach wants from them at a given moment in a certain situation. And something you may be telling them, especially if you played the game, may be right in some circumstances, but it might not be what the coach wants at that time. And all you do is confuse the players, and this slows down the development because they've got their mom or dad yelling at them to do one thing, but they know their coach told them before the game to do something else, whether it's their position or what they should do with the ball. So do your best not to coach, but to cheer and support. Uh, Make sure they're working hard. As I've told my kids, and this sounds a little silly, but at work when they're really younger, is to play hard, have fun, and get dirty. And the get dirtiest part is to understand that you want be aggressive. Fall down, get dirty. It's a great time. You can go out and play soccer and get dirty, right? It's one time the parents can't yell at them for getting muddy. And my kids took to that. When I first told them they're 6, 7 years old and they're coming to me after practice showing me their muddy knees, and that got them to understand that being aggressive while playing the game is a lot more fun than standing around and watching everybody else. Okay. Um, and I think that helps with the aggression. As I said, effort is the most important thing. If they put forth the effort, the development will come. It's a lot more about effort in development at the younger ages than it is about being perfect. No one's ever going to be perfect. None of these kids are ever going to be perfect, and they need to understand that that's okay. Um, and also, parents understand that development happens differently for every player. Like I said before about some players being able to take advantage of superior athleticism and superior speed, etc., at younger ages, they may not have that advantage when they're in high school or playing academy when they're 16, 17 years old. And if you don't teach them to do the right things at the younger ages, they will struggle later. And you see that a lot in America where we have superior athleticism, but we don't have superior technical ability. And that's because as coaches and parents, we encourage using that superior athleticism at younger ages to win games instead of necessarily playing soccer correctly. And that's where you get these fast athletic kids that play a lot of kick and chase because they can just go at a defender, basically pass the ball into space around them and then beat them to the ball, right? But that doesn't help them to, and they'll get goals out of it too. Or teammates can make long passes that they'll run down, but it doesn't help them develop their technical ability. And as they get older, it becomes more about soccer smarts, your soccer IQ, and technical ability. That speed and advantage and size advantage, that's going to level off as you get older. And more kids like that, the ones that are still around and still playing, they all have a lot of that. And so understand that that may not be your kid at a younger age. And that's okay. If they work on learning the game and playing technical, smart soccer, they'll struggle when they're younger against those kids that already have that speed and that athleticism that they don't have. But that's okay if they continue to do the right things, because as they get better, as I said with the team, even individually, that technical ability, that technical skill, that smarts will be able to perform better against those athletic, faster players. Soccer isn't always about, it's not about speed 60 yards down the field, except for maybe that rare breakaway. It's about technical skill and smarts and things like moving off the ball. There are a lot of things in soccer that don't require that superior athleticism. Okay. And a lot of kids are going to bloom late. Your kids that are dominating at age 8, 9, 10, 11, they might not be playing high school soccer even if they're around, because they didn't learn those technical skills, because they relied on their athleticism, and us as adults failed them by allowing them to rely on that superior athleticism. You know. Okay, we're going to stop it there, and in the next episode we will continue on with this. And one of the first things we'll talk about, which I think is a really important topic, is why so many kids quit sports around the age of 12, 13 years old, and discuss some things that parents and coaches can do, that the adults involved can do, and maybe behaviors they can change to keep more kids playing sports as they get older. And I will talk to you in the next episode. Thanks for listening.